Yeah. Yeah. Let me take you on a day. We ain't gotta wait. Tell me if you got an ex in the way he can skate. I just wanna get a little taste, and I see you keep your body in shape. Look, I just wanna day. Damn, you look good. Damn, you look good, girl, and you look good. Need to stop. Came in 2 shots. I'm waiting to hit sugar free, quicker 2 pack, this the coast. T-shirt, flannel, no coats. A party ain't a party if my can't smoke. Here we go. Let me make a toast to baby over there, cause you know I wanna poke. No, I don't. I just wanna get in the throw. Drop at the house and go dipping on the spokes. You know, 2 12s in the back seat, passing by the kids and they yelling, that's me, as I skate. Damn, what's with all this hate? When I come around, you can't say it to my face, okay? No, I do stay paid, and can't get that fade when I come around. It's better quiet, damn. You ain't buying crystal, you sharing that drink. Do I care what you think? I come through wearing that mink. It's all drunk. I don't wanna hit your blunt. I can with any that I want. Is that your chick? Slipped over like I did that back in 06. She was like, wait, hold up, that's my jam. This the new dime. That's my man. Try and get this money as best I can. Can you do it from the side, baby? Yes, I can. Just wait. I'ma beat it out like say. Going all night, just give me like 5 tapes and I'm straight. Dang, that's what I deserve. We getting money now, huh? That's what I done heard. Y'all be in the club with all them nerds. I be at the house with a girl on reserve. What you gonna do with all them curves? Teach me something new right now. I wanna learn. This your turn. Girl, you gotta give it what you got. Ain't nobody giving you a spot. This ain't no team. You ain't finna get no ring. Wake up, girl, this ain't no dream. This my life. Champagne bottles on ice. Come through feeling like Mike. You ain't my wife. Please, I'm everybody type. Girl, I got what everybody like. When I come around, better quiet. Damn, you ain't buying crystal. You sharing that drink. Do I care what you think? I come through wearing that mink. When I come around.
What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Tonight, we are here for a bonus live stream this week. You know, we are starting up those Friday live streams. We did one last week. We're going to be doing them every Friday for the rest of the year, but I said I wanted to do a Dynasty startup mock in the Discord and ask you guys whether or not we should do that live or whether we should do it pre-recorded. And y'all said, let's do it live. It was overwhelming, the amount of people who said they wanted to do it live. So that's what we're doing here tonight. Now, look, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for people here who want to draft with us tonight. My only request for you guys is if you are going to join that link, if you're going to draft with us, make sure you can draft with us the whole time. We're going to be going for about 45 minutes to an hour. I think I have it set up for 16 rounds in a Dynasty startup mock. So that's what we're going to be trying to do today. If you're going to do it, like I said, just make sure you can do the whole thing. But other than that, I say we just get right into it. Let me get you guys that link, and I'm going to put it in the chat right now. If you guys are watching on X, come on over to YouTube. You might be able to find that link in there. Once this is full, we will be getting going. Link should be in the chat now for you guys, so you should be able to click on that one. And let's see how that fills up. So yeah, as you guys can see, we are going to be doing this mock draft. We are going to be in here. I see we're starting to fill up very fast, so that's good to see. I'm going to be drafting from the 9 slot tonight, against you guys. Caleb in here at the 10, Perk in here at the 8, super cool dude at the 12, Logan. Everybody, I appreciate you being in here. AMJ, John, Competitive Edge, Senior. Everybody in here, or Senior, sorry, I called you Senior. We are going to be drafting tonight. Now, if you guys are drafting with us, your settings are going to be on the screen. So if you're watching the stream right now, you guys can see them. It is a 12-team super flex, full PPR, a extra half point for the tight end premium, and it is start 10. We are doing a 3rd round reversal, so keep that in mind as we get into it. But I don't want to waste any more time here tonight, guys. Let's get into the first part of this draft, and let's just hit go on that thing. So John, you were on the clock. But how's everybody doing tonight, man? How's everyone doing? I see we got a lot of people in the chat, a lot of people here early. Scott, Insidious, Dan, Competitive Edge, everybody who is here. Appreciate you guys being here. I see we were talking some Carolina Panthers. It's always Dynasty Jake. Dynasty Jake, you always want to talk those Panthers, but I don't blame you. And let's get some tunes going while we draft here tonight. So, first and foremost, I mean, Bijan Robinson at the 101, man, in a super flex. It's bold. It's very bold. But Drake May and Josh Allen come off the board next. Jamar Chase, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's going to leave us up on the clock here shortly. I strategically took number 9 because I do see a little bit of a drop-off after the 9th slot, and I will happily take Jayden Daniels. And I don't know if you guys did this for me on purpose. Jayden Daniels is on the thumbnail. That was not even the plan, but Jayden Daniels ends up being my pick, and he was the tier breaker for me. So, yeah, I just think right now when you look at Dynasty startup drafts, especially the super flex, you're going to see a lot of the wide receivers go early. The 2 running backs that we saw right now, wouldn't be surprised to see Genty creep in like Logan just did right there. And then you're going to have some quarterbacks. Caleb Williams is probably the last one. So far, we're pretty chalk right now. I see everybody in here saying filled quickly, fast, not even 20 seconds and it's full. I told you guys, you got to get here early if you want to do it. But McBride off the board, Jeremiah Love, and that's going to leave us up here next after Caleb picks. He takes Neighbors, and man, I'm just going to go with my guy here, man. I'm going to take Justin Jefferson. Think we can get a bounce back this year with Kyler Murray. It's not very often we're going to get chances at taking Justin Jefferson in the second round of startups. CeeDee Lamb was the last right behind me that went to Perk, but Justin Jefferson is just a guy right now that we're getting a little bit of a discount on. Can't be mad at a start with Jayden Daniels and Justin Jefferson in a Superflex full PPR league. So I think the big thing that we're going to start noticing is going to be when those third round reversal gets around, or I guess when the third round reversal gets around and who's going to end up being taken there. Jeremy says, I'm commissioned for a league this year. Should I make the startup with a third round reversal? It's a good conversation point. I think I would poll your league, see what they think. It does help balance things out a little bit because the teams that are picking at the 101, the 102, the 103, they do get a little bit of a competitive advantage, but I think people have mixed feelings on it. I'm not super pro or against it either way. So it's really up to you guys. He says, if you ask here, he says, no, don't do it. So I think I would pull your league, see what they want to do. And if it were me, I would probably do it. I would probably do it if it was me doing it. But all right, AMJ on the clock. You see Loveland sliding up here into the 210. Feels a little rich for just a half-point tight end premium. But, hey, we'll see. We'll see, man. Jonathan Taylor, and then we're going to be up on the board here shortly. So I'm going to pull this up a little bit. Let's pull that there, and then I can kind of start looking at what I want to do next. And I am going to answer questions tonight, folks. I don't know if we're going to be like focusing a ton on the questions. We are going to try and talk about this draft a lot tonight, but we are doing that Q&A later. So that is going to be on the range of outcomes. Why the hell? Am I tripping or no? Y'all seeing what I'm seeing? I kind of expect Caleb or Logan to ruin my plans here, but I'm seeing something crazy right now. Y'all see this? We're taking George Pickens over Joe Burrow. What are we doing? Yeah, I expected Caleb to snipe me. It's going to put me kind of looking at one of my next picks here. Take my guy Egbuka. It's a little bit high, it's a little bit early, but when I look at my wide receiver rankings, man, he's a guy that I kind of debate between him and Tedero McMillan every single time that I go look at my rankings. And so I have him right there behind T-Mac. I'll take him in the third round right there. I think we're going to see a big year too. If you guys watched the video that I did recently with Dynasty Nerds, we did a vibes only episode. Which it's exactly what it sounds like. You just go in there, say what you feel right now, and there's no data or analysis behind it. But my vibe only right now with Emeka Egbuka, my take that is a vibes only take, is that Emeka is going to be a top 12 wide receiver this year. I'm just high on him at this point in time, man. I liked him as a prospect. I liked the situation. Mike Evans out of town. Feels like everything's trending up. Him healthier, Baker healthier, that offensive line healthier should mean good things for him. So I'll take him as my wide receiver 2, especially behind Justin Jefferson. Insidious says, I was really considering Burrow over Dart, but I like Dart's rushing upside. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you with Dart and Burrow in conversation. I think I have more of an issue of like when we're taking Colston Loveland over Joe Burrow or Jonathan Taylor, George Pickens, even T-Mac to an extent over Joe Burrow, it feels like you're just getting a decent value there. Let's see. I saw a question here from Dan. He said, so I listened to your team review and I tried selling Chase Brown. My best offer was Woody Marks 212 and 312. I think I'll hold him and leave the league. Makes sense. But I'm glad to hear that, you were able to at least explore some of those moves we were talking about. But yeah, that's awful for compensation. So let's see, man. I'm for the folks listening, I'm gonna try and talk about the board as much, but I'm also just trying to interact with you guys as the chat and talk about some of my picks and things like that. So I apologize if you're listening to the replay and you want me to cover every pick. I just can't do that in 30 seconds with each clock. I guess with the clock being that low. So I'm looking across to the boards right now. ADPs are a little bit better on Sleeper these days. Early in the offseason, they were very bad. They've gotten a little bit better as they got more startup data. I think Brock Purdy is one of the best players on the board right now. CMC at the running back position, but I would rather go Quinshon Judkins over CMC, to be honest. Kenneth Walker over CMC, Breece Hall over CMC. I think his ADP is a little high for the age range that we're in. Carnell Tate coming off the board with Luther Bird in there and Rashee Rice. Wide receiver, you still have Rome Odunze and Garrett Wilson. I like Garrett here. And then I also have Tyler Warren, who I am a fan of. So, man, I'm kind of behind or between Brock Purdy and Tyler Warren. I think I'm going to go with Brock Purdy just because I think there's more value at the tight end position later. So let's take Brock here. I was really tempted, man. I know I'm going to say it and it's not going to come back around to me, but I was really tempted with Tyler Warren. I just think he's such a good value, and getting him almost 2 rounds later than Colston Loveland, it's just, I don't think those guys are that far apart that it should be a 2-round difference between them. So he's somebody that I was definitely looking at. Logan ends up grabbing him, so good selection by you. I just think we're either too high on Loveland or we're too low on Warren. My hunch is we're too high on Loveland in comparison to Tyler Warren. So that's kind of where we're at with that one. Breece Hall off the board. We do not have a running back on the roster yet through the first couple of picks here. So maybe we are looking that way, maybe not. There is quite a lot of good running back value on the board. Like I said, Kenneth Walker sitting there, Judkins sitting there, Saquon Barkley sitting there, lots of guys. So maybe we can look at one of them. My guy Jordan Tyson is still on the board. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you know I like Jordan Tyson a lot in this draft class. But I am going to go over to the running back position. And I think I'm going to do something a little bit risky. This might be, actually, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to take best player available. That's going to be Kenneth Walker for me. So I almost considered Quinshon Judkins. I've been getting a little bit higher on Quinshon Judkins in my rankings, but I think you're kind of looking at it as like a long-term play at the running back position. But the fact that Kenneth Walker, I mean, let's just pull up the player card. We're looking at a guy here who's 25. I know, we've made the arguments that he's never been an RB1. He hasn't been a guy that has really, ever given us that high-end production for a full season or a full, 17-game slate. But he's also never been on the Kansas City Chiefs. So I do think we have a good situation here for Kenneth Walker. Like I said, it was between him and Judkins, but I just think Kenneth Walker can score me more points now while we're waiting for the Browns to go out there and get a quarterback of the future. So that's why I ended up actually leaning that way. As much as I love Judkins as a talent, he's very enticing. It's just I couldn't pass up on Kenneth Walker. So we did have a couple of the guys we were talking about come off the board after that. Tyson comes off the board, Judkins off the board, Marvin there. That's going to put us to our best player available, or our big board here. Kind of looking at Mendoza, Fannin, Barkley, Kraft, T. Higgins, Brian Thomas Jr. That's all based on ADP. So yeah, that's just kind of the top there. While we're waiting for this to kind of come around, I will get back to the chat and I'll just go full screen with this thing so you guys can see it all, even though we're not that far down. Insidious says, would you have taken Kenneth over Breece? I think I would have, man. I kind of view them both similarly. I don't know why that just kicked my ass as I was trying to say that at that moment in time. But I think Breece Hall is in a worse situation than Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is going to have more touchdown upside, I think, in that offense with the Kansas City Chiefs, and should have the ability to probably score more fantasy points. So probably going to be taking him over Breece, but I have them in the same tier. I think actually in my rankings, they are back-to-back, Insidious. Rice is an idiot, but him as wide receiver 3 on this team is insane. He said, I also love Goff as QB2. Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown stack. Yeah, that's a nice little stack. You can get that cheap because Goff is a little bit undervalued, man. Insidious says, I'm a Seahawks fan. I can't trust Kenneth in the regular season. Not going to lie. I understand. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We haven't seen it yet, and the injuries have been a thing for him, but I think the ceiling is higher than Judkins and higher than Brees, at least in the short term, until those two teams figure out their quarterback situation, which they could do that in the 27 draft. I mean, the Jets have 3 first-round picks, so, they could definitely figure that out. I just saw some of that news. I'm going to need to look more into it today, but NCAA allowing a 5th year of eligibility, which is going to change some things a lot for fantasy football, I think, because you think of all those quarterbacks that are going into the NFL draft. If you're going to get a 5th year of eligibility, I mean, come on, man. Okay, so I'm on the board here. My best player available is going to be Brian Thomas, I think, and he is the highest in ADP, so I will take him with the bounce back here in year 3. I think last year he was banged up, he was hurt. Obviously, a player who's coming off of a rookie season where he was very, very productive, and people will point towards that being with Mac Jones, and I get, there is some worries with that, but I trust the offense. I trust Liam Cohen. I think they're going to be high scoring. There's going to be lots of scoring opportunities for Brian Thomas, and I just like him as the number 1 there, or at least what I'm projecting to be the number 1 there. And taking him as my wide receiver 3 kind of gives me a roster right now where you're looking at this with Jayden Daniels, Kenneth Walker, Justin Jefferson, Emeka Egbuka, and Bryant Thomas Jr. I mean, we're young, man. Like, Kenneth Walker's kind of a win now piece, but he's still at the beginning of his peak. Usually, I mean, if you watch that running back video that we just did not too long ago about the peaks and valleys of the running back position, the start of that peak is about 24 and a half years old. And like I said, Kenneth Walker is 25. So we should have about a 2-year window here where he can be productive still for us. We're going to be back on the clock here in just a second. So let's see what we can do. I think I'm just going to take my guy Kyle Pitts, man. If you guys have watched the channel for a long time, you are watching a full circle moment happen with me and Kyle Pitts these days. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we were just angry with Kyle Pitts, and we've come all the way back around on him to where I'm viewing him, over guys like Kraft, over guys like Laporta, over guys like even Harold Fannin, who went at the 6'10". I'm with it, man. I like Kyle Pitts. I like the change to Kevin Stefanski this year. I think it's going to be really good for him from a production standpoint. He obviously just got the payday. So I am now, my tune is changing on Kyle Pitts, and it's just a crazy full circle moment to be here with that, because if you guys, like I said, if you've been around, you know the slander we have given Kyle Pitts. But that's where I'm at, man. And a half-point tight end premium, this is kind of the tier that I would rather have a guy in. It's really, I want to have I wanted Warren. We obviously didn't get him where I wanted him. I probably could have taken him over Purdy and just played the gamble, but Purdy kind of felt like a tier break for me. And then everything else here is like Kincaid, Ferguson, Strange. Those are guys that I like, but that's if I'm punting the position. So this is like the last of like the high-end guys here for me. I think that's a little bit of a reach on Sadiq. In comparison to where he's valued in the market today. Not to say that he can't get there after a season here. So what do we got? Is Irving higher on the list than Walker, Judkins, or Price? No, I have Bucky behind Walker and behind Judkins. I have him in the same range as Jadarian Price. Pitts over Kraft. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just the injury with Tucker Kraft. I'm expecting a little bit of a down year this year. And then when it's all said and done, like, I do still have some minor concerns with Tucker Kraft. I know he was productive last year when Christian Watson was off of the football field and Jayden Reed was off of the football field. But I feel like he's going to be a guy who sees some regression and his value drop a little bit from where he's being valued at right now before we see it go back up. Whereas I think Kyle Pitts is kind of valued in a spot where I don't really see him going down, and I could see him going up if Harold Fannin kind of has a slump in year 2. So for me, it was safety. I think the floor of Pitts is higher than the floor of Kraft in the short term for 2026 and 2027, maybe. But it all comes down to how he recovers off of that knee injury. I mean, if he bounces back and doesn't look like he's recovered, or it doesn't look like he's being hindered by it, yeah, it's probably a mistake, but I have him in the same tier. And like I said, I think there's just a safer floor, a safer bet here with Kyle Pitts right now with that Stefanski change. Kevin Stefanski definitely makes me more interested in Pitts. Tua was hyper-targeting tight end in his last days. Yeah, exactly, man. Caleb says my 27 first is available if anybody wants it. Crazy. All right, let's look at the team right now. I mean, we'd like to get a running back, 2 on the roster if we can. I'm not going to force it by any means. Looking at the quarterback position, not a lot here that I love, but we're in a super flex, so I already have 2 of them. If I can just get one more, I'm fine, and I don't feel like we need to force one without maybe shoring up some of these other positions. Swift coming off the board kind of hurts because I think he was the best one available. Wide receivers, tight ends. That kind of hurts because I feel like the last couple options I was looking at came off the board right before me. When all else fails, I am going to go back to that quarterback position. I'm going to take the shot. I know everybody has been so negative about him lately. CJ Stroud. At this point in time, man, we're getting him so cheap. 8th round, QB3. There's not a lot of risk with this type of pick. And you look at the other quarterbacks that were on the board. Sam Darnold. I mean, if you want similar production, I think CJ Stroud can give you similar production to Sam Darnold, and you have more upside with him. Better than Bryce Young, I think, from a production standpoint. Matthew Stafford, yeah, that's a play for a long period or a contending roster. But if you're trying to play the long term, everybody else here, even Daniel Jones and Malik Willis, like, I'll take the upside with CJ Stroud. And I understand, he may just not ever bounce back. But at QB3, I can't be mad about having Jayden Daniels, Brock Purdy, and CJ Stroud. So that'll be it, I think, for us at the quarterback position for the most part. And we've kind of now built this hero running back, which I didn't do that intentionally, but that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, this is a valid point too. Different scheme though. Now, like we said, we've been talking about the Stefanski stuff. It's a little bit of a different scheme now. What's your favorite quarterback wide receiver stack this year? I mean, the Amon-Ra Goff one, obviously Burrow, Chase, CD Dak would be awesome. Like, those are the top ones, but those are common ones. So, nothing too crazy there. Geno Smith, AD Mitchell, that's sneaky. Actually, probably an underrated stack for you, if I were to give you one, is Bo Nix, Jalen Waddle. That's probably an underrated one right now. I'm kind of tilting. We're going to go there. It's a little bit of a reach, but Rico Dowdle. That's probably a bad pick. 30 seconds. It's not a bad pick. I mean, Blake Corum right there, Jalen Warren right there. This is kind of the range we're in. I think it's a little bit of a reach down the board. I was panicking with 30 seconds on the clock, trying to stream and do all that. But my gut wanted to go Jordan Addison. I think I went away from that originally because Justin Jefferson is on the roster, so maybe it wasn't the best decision. Other than that, I was looking at Christian Watson, and Denzel Boston was another guy that I kind of looked at. I thought about maybe a Zach Charbonnet, but I don't love him as a pick there either. Part of me wonders if I could have gambled on Stroud coming back around with Malik Willis, the only quarterback coming off the board since then. So curious if that gamble would have paid off. This might have been the spot, though, to just take... the more that I look at it, the more I feel comfortable with the Rico pick, I guess. Still think he can give us some RB2 production this year. What do you guys think? What do you think of the chat? Is that a reach on Rico? You guys like that, or you dislike that based off of where we're at right now with the running back position? Monongai being there, Algier, Jonah Coleman. It's kind of where we were with the running backs. Feels like Rico's fine at that cost. Yeah, Dart Neighbors is obviously one of the better stacks as well. But he said this year, I don't know what we're going to get from Neighbors this year. I hope we get some because I've been taking some dips. I've been grabbing some of the dip in best ball drafts on Malik Neighbors, but I don't know what we're going to get this year out of him coming off that injury. Perk says, I don't believe in Willis at all. Someone has to convince me he's the starter longer than one season. That's where I'm at with him as well. I don't think he's going to be the starter next year. There's just no way that they don't get a top pick in the draft and draft their quarterback of the future. Insidious says, I don't dislike the value in comparison to other running backs. That's kind of, I mean, it feels like where we were. Perk says, Rico was fine. RB went dry after Swift. Yeah, Swift was really the pick that I wanted when I had to pick Stroud. I wanted Swift. I probably would have picked him there as my RB2. Felt good about it. And then obviously I got sniped, so I go best player available with Stroud, and then I kind of took Rico. So, yeah, I don't know. If Willa Flash is top 15 Dynasty QB upside, I don't know, man. I still don't believe at all. Like, he's somebody that I don't know if you could even pay me to roster him in Dynasty if I can flip him for anything decent. Like, I think just getting off of him in general is just where I'm at with him. Okay, Denzel Boston off the board. A lot of those wide receivers we talked about last off the board. I'm not going to force any of these running back picks. I'm going to take Courtland Sutton here. He's a little bit of an odd pick, I think, for my build because we just don't have a lot of old players, but I still feel like he's going to be productive there in Denver. Jalen Waddle should be able to open him up, especially in the red zone. Obviously, the volume's going to come down. He wasn't really a volume play for us anyways. He's 30 years old, but you go and you look back at last year for him, 124 targets, 135 targets. We probably see him come closer down to this where we're at like 109, 98, somewhere in here. And so you need some touchdowns to go his way. Obviously, in these 2 seasons, those touchdowns did not go his way. But I think Denver's going to be a good enough offense. They have the quarterback play. Should still be decent for you, especially as a flex play here. So in my flex plays, I kind of want to just go get, good offenses and take shots on players there. He's a player that kind of doesn't have that long-term upside, but I still like him enough there. We're just in gross running back territory, dude. I just don't like anything here. Travis Hunter off the board. Jonathan Brooks is a solid pick. Half-point tight end premium. I'm going to take Jake Ferguson. I like him in that offense, obviously. I think you have him here. That's your tight end 2. You can flex him in a half-point tight end premium. I feel more comfortable flexing him, honestly, than even some of these guys. Like, would you rather flex him or Chris Bell or Jalen Coker? I think you're getting similar production out of these guys. Obviously, these guys have some long-term upside, but I don't know, man. I just feel like we're in a range where all of these guys kind of become the same for the most part. And at that point, I'll take whoever's available with my next pick. So we're kind of done at tight end, though, and we're kind of done at my quarterback. Now that we're this far in, it's kind of just running back and wide receiver for me the rest of the way for the most part. Obviously, that would be different if we were doing a full dynasty draft because probably be, another 10 rounds maybe to fill out the rosters. But with just 16 in our mock draft, I think I'm fine stopping at 3 QBs and 2 tight ends. I have Pittman over DK in redraft and dynasty. Am I crazy? I don't think so. I kind of like Pittman more too. Thought I got a spot. Now the wife is mad when I made her drive for I love it, dude. I love it. All right, let's just pop this down and then see where everything ends up. Man, let's take a look at some of these teams right now and kind of see whose builds I like at this point in time. We're, a little past the halfway point, but I'll take a halfway checkpoint and just look at some of these rosters. Looks like Super Cool Dude is going with a very young build, despite... Actually, I need to go up because I realize I'm looking starting in the 4th round. Caleb, Dart, Odunze. Yeah, I mean, we have a nice young build. Rice, Lemon, Eli. Evans feels odd, and I would say so does DK in this current roster construction, but it is a very young team. Logan going with the later quarterback build. You got Love, Ward, and Willis, which isn't bad. You're super strong at the running back position with Genty and Love, so that's dope. Caleb, well-rounded team, it looks like. QB2 looks very suspect with Tua being the guy at this point. But you got Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, Brock Bowers, and Fannin, double tight end here. Half point, I don't know if I'm paying up for 2 tight ends, but especially not at the cost of my quarterback. I think if you could have ended up getting Cam Ward or Jordan Love or somebody like that as your QB2, you're feeling better. I see everybody else is still... I'm going to get to more of you guys as we talk about them, but I'm about to be back up on the clock, so let's pull this back up. I'm going to pull it all the way. I mean... I think I'm going to end up just taking the falling player. Take Charbonnet. We'll see what his role looks like when he comes back. Obviously a talented player. I think Jadarian Price could be in a split committee. I don't think Price is as talented as Kenneth Walker was, and if Charbonnet was able to make this a split with Kenneth Walker, he should be able to make it a split with Jadarian Price. So I'll take him there. Obviously, he's a free agent next summer as well, so we'll see what happens with him. But at that point, I'm a little bit weak at running back. Rico as my RB2. Charbonnet will be a long-term play. Probably not going to get too much production out of him this year, but I'll take the value. It's not like he's a super old player either. 25, we still probably got 2 more years, maybe 3 more years out of him if he gets into the right situations and recovers well. And then I'll take this other pick and I'll get back to talking about some of your guys' teams as we go through that long turn there. I am up. Gainwell and Pollard off the board. Rashad White off the board. That was just detrimental for me. Because I was looking at all of those guys. Yeah, we're kind of in just ugly territory, so I'll just keep taking shots on running backs. I'm going to grab Jordan Mason here. It's not a sexy pick by any means, but rumor has it right now coming out of Vikings early offseason is that Mason's actually going to be the 1B and Aaron Jones is going to be the guy who kind of spells him. So if he gets some starting reps this year, maybe he's valuable for you. Most of those options that we're looking at there are kind of 1-year rentals. I would say the only other guy I would debate is Tyrone Tracy was somebody I was debating because I do like him as a player. Obviously, Scattaboo is getting reports that he looks good right now. So I'll just take Jordan Mason. Maybe he's the guy that I'm playing in my bye weeks or whatever. My RB2, it's just got to the point where the value hasn't been good. But here's the good thing about a Dynasty startup is the team that you draft isn't the team that you have to go into week 1 with. So I would be able to use some ammunition here to maybe go out and make a move. Now, the reality is, Caleb, you got Tua and Penix. I might be able to come to you with Stroud or Purdy or something and try and get a running back, or maybe I could do that with some of these other teams. I just use you because we were talking about your quarterback position being a little bit weaker. But that's the point, man. You can go in and make some moves after this. So while my running back position is weak in this draft, or my RB2 slot is weak in the draft, I can go fix that afterwards. But let's go back and look at some of these teams here. Perk. You got Rice, Lamb, Amon-Ra, just awesome. Herbert, Goff. And then Jacobs, ETN, Swift. I mean, it's a win now roster with Kittle too. I mean, this is probably one of the better teams we've seen so far. Maybe not a super long window that you have because your running backs are all in that short-term type of range. They're all kind of in their prime or leaving their prime here probably shortly in the next year or so. But I do like this range for this team. This is a good roster so far. Logan, I like what we have here with Puka, Amarion, T-Law, Burden, Bucky. I probably would have rather went Judkins there, but still a good roster. And then Tootin, some upside here in the Jags offense. Obviously stacking that with T-Law makes sense. JSN, HN, Nix, Olave, Tyson, double Saints is very interesting here. Sir with Gibbs, London, Hurts, Tate, Judkins, Mendoza. Nice and young build. Should be a strong cornerstone type of roster. And you get Kraft on the value that people were talking about. Saying, I took Pitts early. They said they didn't like it. You end up getting Kraft. Chase, Lamar, Chase Brown, Travion, Marvin, Scat. I think this is a risky team a little bit. Outside of Chase, Lamar, there's the cornerstone pieces, but then you chase a lot of upside with Sadiq and Scat and Marv and Travion. You're chasing a ton of upside, and I like that. But there is some risk with it. All right, let's make our selection, then we'll finish talking about everybody else. I mean, he is still here for me. I said I kind of liked him on the last pick. I'm just going to take him anyways. Go Tyrone Tracy as my selection. And now the running back room is starting to get pieced together a little bit more. Obviously not elite by any means, but starting to feel a little bit better about it as you get some depth added. Let's go look at this team here. Josh Allen, Colston Loveland, Dak Prescott, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Kyron Williams. This is another team that is trying to win right now. Like I said, I think it's a little bit rich on Colston Loveland, but I don't blame you. May, Taylor, Cook, Nico. Another win now team. You get Drake May as the hammer. Your QB2 is abysmal with Jacoby Brissett, but it is what it is. And then Bijan early in the 101. I probably wouldn't have done that, but I do obviously love Bijan Robinson. And then you get T-Mac, Mahomes, Ladd, Zay, Baker, J-Mo. Lots of good value there and young upside. I'm on the clock. Let's go see what we got. Kind of just an upside territory here. I'm gonna put him on there. Yeah, I figured we were gonna get autoed here pretty quickly. Probably wouldn't. I mean, if I had more time to look at this, it would be between him and probably Brian Robinson that we were looking at. We ended up going, I need to turn off the auto so it doesn't get us on the next one. But I'm glad I threw him in the queue just in case. We go Pacheco. Just maybe taking over that Montgomery role. I obviously think Gibbs is going to get a bigger role this year. But Pacheco should still be involved. Maybe a couple goal line touchdowns that he gets. So I'll take him there and see what happens. I think in reality, you go look back at that and you say, could you have went Dylan Sampson? Maybe that's a better pick. Maybe, like I said, B-Rob maybe would have been a better pick. But getting there at the clock at 20 seconds, you just do what you got to do. And I feel like we're strong at wide receiver. You know, Jefferson, Egbuka, Thomas, Sutton. We probably need to grab another one. But instead of reaching for these wide receivers, because I would have liked to get Antonio Williams. He's a player that I like. Obviously wasn't available when we picked. Where we ended up taking Charbonnet, it would have been nice to go like Jeremy Bernard. He's a guy that I've been higher on. You guys know that. You go with this Tyrone Tracy pick. You could have maybe made an argument for one of these other wide receivers. Probably still like the Tracy pick there. But I think these two specifically, Sharp and Pacheco, it's kind of just because we didn't get the running back to fall our way. I would have liked Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt too. I might have taken JCM over Charbonnet had we had the opportunity, but yeah, this 12th round, it would have been nice to get a wide receiver in that 12th round with Bernard or Reed or even JCM. We just kind of just had to take the injury, but that's okay. All right, and we are getting up to the last pick here for us in this mock draft. But let's see. The ADPs down here is such a mess. These are like the ones that haven't caught up really. All right, threw a couple guys in the queue. Malik Washington down here is such a nice pick, Logan. I like that for you. Just think the opportunity for him is pretty nice. I'm going to go Adonai Mitchell. End up taking our guy there. Liked him a couple years back. Offseason so far this year has just been positive Adonai report after positive Adonai report after positive report. So, you know, player who's getting buzz. Think he's definitely worth taking a shot on at this point in time. So I'll take him as the 5th wide receiver on the roster and just go from there. Overall, you know, I'm looking at this build and we'll go through and we'll talk about these teams. If you guys are in the chat and you want me to talk about your roster, look at your roster, just let me know in the chat and we can talk about them. But actually, I can do this here. We can just go here, slide that one up. Looking at the team right now, Jayden Daniels, Kenneth Walker, Rico Dowdle, Justin Jefferson, Emeka Egbuka, Brian Thomas, Kyle Pitts, Courtland, Sutton, Jake Ferguson, Brock Purdy, CJ Stroud, Zach Charbonnet, Jordan Mason, Tyrone Tracy, Isiah Pacheco, and Adonai Mitchell. I will say for this roster, I loved the way we started. Getting Jayden Daniels, Jefferson, Egbuka, BTJ, Pitts, felt like a really good start to the team. Even Brock Purdy thrown in there. I like the value we got on Stroud. I think the thing was with Rico Dowdle being our running back 2 and getting sniped specifically. Let me give the shout out to whoever sniped. Perk. You know, having Perk snipe us on Swift, that kind of was a big one that I feel like had us chasing some running back later, which I wouldn't suggest typically, and that's a bad habit of mine. In these mock drafts when it's only 30 seconds and we're sitting here trying to, you know, talk to you guys live on stream. Like, I end up starting to chase a little bit just because I'm like, I know I need running back. I should probably go grab one. Now, had I been in a slow draft, which I suggest most of you guys do these Dynasty startups in a slow draft where you have an hour or 2 hours or 8 hours even to do a pick, that would probably be one where you don't end up making those mistakes because you have more time to think about them. So I think we did chase running back a little bit, although I don't think we got bad running backs. Like I do like the hodgepodge of guys, the collection of guys that we have here in Charbonnet and Mason and Tracy and Pacheco and Dowdle. We can piece together an RB2 slot. I just think maybe we let the running back position force us to miss out on some maybe wide receiver value down here. And the fact that we ended up taking Ferguson here probably made it to where we missed out on some wide receiver value as well. We probably could have waited on tight end 2 for a little bit later than Ferguson, but he felt like a guy you could flex in a half-point tight end premium right now, just with how good that Dallas offense is. So let's see. JM says going double Saints was really gross, but I thought Tyson is too good to miss. And then Perk says, do you think Diggs signs soon? Maybe he will. I've been seeing him post Instagram videos and YouTube videos and all this stuff. So maybe. Let's look at that double Saints team, though, because you brought that one up, Giddens. Getting him here, yeah, I mean, I like where he's at. That's kind of the range that you would have him in. Although, I think had it been me, as much as I like Jordan Tyson, because I already had Chris Olave, I might have had that be the tiebreaker for me to maybe take a shot on Zay Flowers, who ends up going about 5 picks later. That probably would have been where I went, is trying to get Zay with my Olave and JSN. I feel like I would like that just a tiny bit more. But if you believe in Jordan Tyson, which obviously I believe in the player Jordan Tyson, but if you believe in him hitting that next stratosphere of talent, then you know, maybe you can trade him down the road. So let's see what else. Is anybody else in here that wants us to look at their roster? I know Perk says his build is contend year 1, and if it busts, go reload year 2. That's usually a strategy. I don't mind that. I mean, I think the opposite side of that is usually what I like to do, where it's like I will take myself out of contention in year 1, get a bunch of young talent, trade back. You know, obviously in these mock drafts where we do them live on stream, we can't trade. It's not a real league, so you're not trading, but I would be trading back. Probably had I got to that Kenneth Walker pick, I'm trading back probably. So I can just grab Judkins later. I'd probably be trading back on the Kyle Pitts selection. I'd be trading back on the CJ Stroud selection for Caleb if he wanted to come up and get a QB. Like, that probably would have been something there. There's a lot more opportunities to make those trades. So, you know, I do like to do the 1 year punt, and then year 2, 3, 4, I'm trying to build that powerhouse in that 1 year of not contending. So it sounds like you were trying to do the opposite there, Perk, which isn't a bad strategy either. I got to have some Unk presence in my wide receiver room. Everybody trying to get Unk. I like it. Get the youngins right. Okay, mentorship. I like the mentorship. Been meaning to use your underdog code. How would I get my team info over to you? So you would just submit that into... I got a link. It's all over the place. It's going to be in the YouTube channel. It's going to be in the comments of this video. It's in the comments of all the other videos. Like, there's a link. It's my hot bio. In there, once you use the underdog code, you're going to be able to submit a team for review. So you can do that anywhere. I'll show you actually real fast. Let's see. That's actually going to take me right to... Hold on one second, boys. Let me pull this up. I didn't want to take you on the back end of things. I want to show you the front end that you will see, not the stuff that I see to make it. So let's see. Okay, here we go. So I'll show you this. So this is just, obviously this is weird. This is like inception of us on stream on X. But this link, this hot bio / the league FFB, this link is all over the place. Any one of my socials, you're going to find it. If you click on it and then you go into here, it's just going to show you top of this, request a team review. So if you use the underdog code, you can just fill this one out. I'll get you the team review and we'll go from there. But and then obviously if you just need the link to use the code, you can just use this one too. So there's a lot of stuff in there. All right, folks, got nothing else for you guys today. That was quicker than I thought. Maybe we could have done a little bit more. Maybe we could have extended the clock to 60 seconds. Maybe would have helped a little bit, but I appreciate everybody for coming and hanging out. Oh, actually we had one more. I am so sorry. I don't want to get away from that. I want to get you what you came here for. Sir says his team had a couple guys sniped on the 30-second clock, rushed a few picks. Yeah, that's the case. But I look at it, Hurts, Gibbs, Judkins, like that with Mendoza as well. It's younger. Like I said, with London and Tate too, we're young. You get the value here. I like Pearsall in Boston. I'm not a huge Jonah Coleman guy, but I get it. And Singleton, I think you just went with a lot of upside, and I like it. And it's a younger build. Maybe not going to be super competitive year 1 if you're waiting on Mendoza and Tate and even Judkins and Kraft to come off the injury, even Pearsall too. But it is a team that I do like long term. So Insidious says, chat, what should I cop for dinner? Wingstop's calling my name. I love Wingstop, dude. Top 5, and it's not 5 either. W stream, and then last one here, and we'll get on out of here, folks. I know we're kind of just chilling now at this point. I was the Puka team, would be interested in hearing your thoughts on the roster. So Logan, oh yeah, I told you I liked that one later in the draft. But Puka, Amon-Ra, I've done that twice now, exactly. Just that. Puka and Amarion with T-Law, Burden, Bucky. Like I said, I think it's a little high on Bucky. I probably would have went Judkins over him just because of the risk with Bucky Irving right now. Tyler Shuck QB2 is risky, but I do see some upside with him. I like the Jags stacks down here. McLaurin does feel a little bit odd to the build because he is a little bit of an older piece, and he feels like the only older piece that you have here. But then going and getting JCM, Okonkwo, I like the upside with those guys. And then Malik Washington late too. I like the team. I think, like you said, Terry McLaurin, or like I said, Terry McLaurin is probably the one odd outlier there. But you can't be mad at the value you got Terry at. So there you go. All right, folks. That is everything. I'm serious now. So appreciate you guys. We are going to go... wrap this one up. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys go join the Discord. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you do all that good stuff. We are going to be live every Friday from here on out. So if you guys missed this live stream, you're watching on the replay, or maybe you didn't even know we go live on Fridays for Q&As. We're going to be answering all of your guys' questions here on Friday, just in a couple of days. So we'll be doing that here every Friday for the rest of the year. Appreciate you guys for coming and drafting this mock draft with me. I just felt like doing a mock draft, and it was fun, and I'm glad you guys decided to do it as a stream, because it's always fun to kind of hop on here and hang out with you guys. Other than that, nothing else for you guys today, so I will see you on the next episode. Until then, peace out.